Grace Academia Libraries, and welcome to our online session, Do It Yourself Book Folding. So with the Christmas season soon upon us, I thought I'd do this little video to take you guys through the basic process of book folding using the MMF method, which is mark, measure and fold. It's a really simple, easy way to take old and discarded books and turn them into beautiful personalized gifts to give to friends and family. So I'm going to show you a few of the patterns and books that I have folded to give you an idea of the extent and range of skill books that you can create using this method. So I'm going to start off. This is the pattern I'm going to take you through today. As you can see, it's just a little heart inside a book because we love books. And so I said this is the one I'll show you. It's the first pattern I ever did because it's really simple, really basic, and you can do it in half an hour to 45 minutes. So it's not a very big one. So it's a good one to start learning on. And I will share the pattern for this one at the end of the video. It is a free one that's widely available on the internet. But you can do more advanced ones using this same method. So this is a gift I've made for my father, so you can see it just says Dad and has a little beer stubby at the front there. So that's, you know, a nice personalized one. I've got a butterfly flying through the book. I have a little dove. I like this one, it's so cute. So there's the dove. I have this one. This is another personalized one, so that's Archer, who's my nephew, so I just did his name in a book. If you're like me and you have a really long name, you need a really big book to do your name. There's also a lot of personalized fandom ones. So I'm a Harry Potter girl, so I've got this one that says Hogwarts, and then I've also got the very well known HP Harry Potter logo. So those are just some of the patterns I've done. I have done a Star Wars one, I've done a cat, I've done a dog. Actually, you might be able to see a cat behind me, and I think the dog is up there. I've done Chain of Hearts, I've done a heart with the word mum in it. I've done a Sisters Forever. So lots and lots of different patterns that you can do, and it's all using the same method. The only difference between doing this little heart and doing something more complex is time. So the heart, I said, took me maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. Dad took me, I'm going to say maybe 3 to 4 hours over a couple of days. So I did that one in bits because it was much longer. So what do you need to book fold? Only a few things. First off, you need a ruler. You need a pen or a pencil. It doesn't matter if you use a pen, because if you make a mistake, you just cross it out and mark it again. And you're going to be folding over on the marks. You will not see them once the book's folded. You will need a hardback book. And I'll take you through how to pick your book because it will depend on what you're folding. And then last but not least, you're going to need a pattern. So this is what a pattern will look like. So you'll see it'll have 3 rows. It'll have the leaf number, which is basically your fold. You'll then have mark 1 and mark 2. There are some patterns that are a bit more advanced in MMF that have more than 2 folds, but I would wait until you've practiced on folding with just two marks before you advance to trying to do fold with 3 or 4 marks per page. So what you need to do, sometimes also if you're Googling for free patterns, I found this, you might come across a pattern that looks like this. And basically the difference with this one is, as opposed to that last one I just showed you, is you'll notice that each mark has 2 numbers after the decimal point. So this is a pattern that's been created with a specialized ruler, a mathematics ruler. Most standard rulers do not measure to that specific number, so you're going to want to make sure that you grab a pattern that only has 1 number after the decimal point, because otherwise the pattern won't come out if it has 2 decimal points and you can't measure to that exact number. So there's a couple of things you need to take note of when book folding. So with your pattern, the first thing you need to note is how many leaf numbers or folds are there. So this one has 51. So that means you're going to need a book with 102 pages, because you need to double your folds or your leaf number, because books pages are labeled back and front, but you can only fold that page once. So always check how many folds you have in your pattern, and then you need to times that by 2, and that's the minimum number of pages you can have in a book. So if the pattern, so I think my HP one here is about 300 pages, so I needed a 600 page book. The other thing to take note of is always just run your finger down mark 2 and just grab whatever the highest number is. So on this one, look, the highest number is 13.9. And just make sure that your book is tall enough. As a general rule, most hardbacks are about 25 centimeters in height, but occasionally, for example, this one, it's not 25 centimeters, so a lot of my patterns actually wouldn't fit in this book. So you don't want to get halfway through measuring and then realize the book is not tall enough to actually fit your pattern. It rarely happens, because I said most books are a standard 20 to 25 centimeters, but it's always good to double check on your pattern just in case. You'll also note that mark 1 is always going to be the lowest number, and mark 2 will be the highest number. You will on occasion get a pattern that has mark 1 and mark 2 as the same, and then you're just folding it centrally onto the same mark. But otherwise there's a difference. Mark 1 will be the lower number, mark 2 will be the higher number. So then there's one more thing you need to do. Once you've got your book, you'll need to calculate what your start page is. So to calculate that, you take the total number of pages in the book, you divide that by 2, and then you minus the number of folds out. And that will give you your start page. If you don't have a lot of wriggle room, if you're doing a big pattern, you don't have a lot of wriggle room in terms of how many leftover pages you're going to have, I tend to halve that number again just to be on the safe side. But generally doing that first calculation, number of pages divided by 2 minus number of folds, that'll give you your start page so that you can have your book pattern centered, because you don't want it skewed to one side or the other. So that's pretty much all you'll need to be prepared. I'm going to go grab a book so that I can book fold this heart for you and take you through the process. So I will be back with you in one moment. Okay, so once you've done all your calculations, you're ready to start marking your book. So open your book to the page that you're going to be marking on and line your ruler up. Line it up as close as you can to the edge. It just makes it easier to fold if the mark is as close to the edge of the page as possible. And make sure you're lining the 0 part of the ruler up with the edge and not just the start of the ruler. So the 0 is there, and then you're doing your first mark. So just going to move it up a little bit more. Okay, so 8.2 and 9.8, and then mark off however you're going to be marking it off on your pattern or on a notepad. And your next one, line the ruler up again. So remember 0 at the very top, and 1 mark, and your second mark. So just remember you're making both marks from the top of the page. At no point do you move the ruler. The marks are both made from the very top. back to our start page. We've done all our marks. So you can see the 2 marks on here that you're going to fold. So you just grab from the top corner of the page and fold it down on the mark and press down. You want this fold to be flat. And then you can do the second mark and fold down and go. Alright, so that's just how it looks. And then you keep doing that. So you do next page, fold down on the mark, press down, and fold down on the mark, and press down. And you continue to do that until all your pages have been folded. has folded a beautiful heart. So just a couple more points on folding patterns. The heart is a really basic pattern and it folds, every fold is at a 90-degree angle. So it's really easy to fold. You will get some more complicated patterns that have, obviously because you're trying for a different shape, that will not fold as nicely. So I'm just going to make some random marks in here so you guys can see. So sometimes you get marks that are, first one's really low down the page and then it's actually the other one's really close to the end of the page. And so with marks like this, it's not going to be as simple as folding out like that. You're going to have to measure it like that. So it'll be a steeper angle on the fold. And as you can see, this bit is coming over the spine of the book. So you just need to fold that bit back so that it doesn't prop the book up when it shouldn't be. And then that last little one, which wasn't greatly folded, but just fix it, sits like that. And again, and remember, it's just the tip that has to line up. It doesn't have to line all the way up. It's just the tip of the fold has to line up. So you'll find patterns, most patterns will have ones like that. So if I grab Archer again and open him up, you'll find, you can see in there that I've had to fold that back and that it's not completely straight. So that's okay because you can't tell from the outside. So just keep practicing and make it work.